But to overhaul the roster, it's now the decisions to be made of the people at the top. And Brad Treliving's been here for 2 years. Craig Berube's been here for 1 year. Keith Pelly's been here for 1 year. There's one fella who has been here for a very, very long time, and that's Brendan Shanahan. And but before I turn it over to you, Zach, to unleash on Brendan Shanahan, I will say, for as frustrating as this team has been, and as frustrating as I feel like the organizational structure has been for the last few years, I do think Brendan Shanahan has done all of the non-hockey related things with the Leafs very, very well. He's been a very, very good community ambassador. He's been excellent with the fans. He's been out there supporting the community, supporting hospitals, supporting all of that. So none of this is what is supposed to be said. None of this is personal towards Brendan Shanahan. Nope. I do think he is a good human with a good heart who has used his position to benefit his community well. So I'll say that before we get into the hockey related stuff, which is where the frustration comes in. Zach, I cede the floor to you. Take it away.
So I want to quickly shout out Mark for saying, I appreciate you guys being able to be level-headed after that loss. Mad respect. You should have tuned in 5 minutes from that comment, because this is where this is what actually I'm truly passionately angry about. We talk about the game and the core four and all that. It's defeatism. It's purely defeatism. I am just sick of watching these guys lose year after year, because we know it's going to happen. Every Leaf fan on earth predicted that they would win Game 6 and lose Game 7 after that disaster of Game 5.
Yep.
But where the rage comes in is Brendan Shanahan. Brendan Shanahan was brought in, and he did a great job at the start of his career. He brought in Mike Babcock to be the coach, which at the time was a huge deal. He brings in Lou Lamoriello, a veteran GM, and they form this young team, this young, fun team. But then Brendan Shanahan, he decides, you know what, Lou Lamoriello, you're going to go. And you know what? That was a good decision, because it was Kyle Dubas' time. The thing is, Kyle Dubas is a little young. He signs John Tavares. He gets a little cocky. And he's a young GM. He gets his lunch ate in these negotiations. And all these guys are making a ton of money. The Leafs lose in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. And the Leafs, time after time after time, say, we believe in the core four. We're bringing the core four back. None of these guys are getting traded. 2022. Again, you lose. But they look good. They got more respect in the handshake line. Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
How much respect do you think they got tonight in the handshake line? That's what I want to know.
2023. They finally beat Tampa, but they get smacked by Florida. And Kyle Dubas finally breaks, and he says, you know what? Maybe we were too rigid in our process. Maybe it's time to consider moving off of the core four. And what happens next? He gets fired because Brendan Shanahan was like, no, I love these guys. They're my guys. The core four, look how great they are. They get into the playoffs every year. They're so good. Look at them. We're going to protect them. The first thing Brendan Shanahan did after Kyle Dubas was fired was call every member of the core four to reassure them that they weren't going anywhere. And thus, their no movement clauses kick in. And all of a sudden, you have lost all the power. Brad Treliving comes in, and it's very obvious he's not running the show. For as much as he made some good moves, he's not running the show. It's Brendan Shanahan's team. Brendan Shanahan has been the ringleader of this circus for the last 9 years. He has become the face of the Toronto Maple Leafs and their ownership group. And year after year after year, when we get mad that the core four is being brought back, it's Brendan Shanahan protecting his guys, refusing to admit that he fucked up and he made a mistake and he was wrong to bring them back year after year after year. Mitch Marner should have been traded after the Montreal series in 2021 when he imploded and he had that puck over the glass in Game 6 on an uncontested penalty kill, and he choked and he was awful and he just needed to be gone, but they protected him. 2022, the Leafs, They look good, but they still lose in game 7 in the first round. John Tavares will sit up there and be like, we're right there. We're right there. But no, you're not right there. You suck. Mitch Marner needed to be gone after that too. Or anyone else. And it could have been anyone else at that point. 2023, you lose to Florida. That was the time to trade Mitch Marner because he was awful. Or Nylander. Again, you could have traded any
Either
of them,
or,
but
yeah.
now it's Marner. You extend Nylander. You extend Matthews. Tavares was still under contract. Mitch Marner was the one. He was the one who consistently shrunk in the big moments. And Matthews did too, to an extent. But at least Matthews had series where he would black out and score 5 goals. Matthews at least showed an ability to be good in the playoffs. Marner never did. He was good in games 1-3. Never passed that. Mitch Marner lost all the goodwill. And, there's a whole conversation we had about aging and how he destroyed the puppy dog persona he had.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to be mad about the core 4, and understandably so. There's 9 years of frustration about this. So there is 41 people in here. I want all of you to remember, when you're looking for who to blame Brendan Shanahan, because he's the reason that this experiment has gone on as long as it has. And the Shana-Plan, for as good as it was to get the Leafs to the playoffs consistently, there wasn't a plan beyond that, and he refused to admit defeat. He refused to move on from Mitch Marner, and you reap what you sow, and these are the consequences of your actions, or your inaction, rather. Marner's now going to walk for nothing. You could have traded him and gotten a haul. Could you imagine how much the Leafs could have gotten in a trade for Mitch Marner 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You had a year of team control and or 2 years of team control, and you could have extended him. Every single person, 31 teams are lining up to trade for that player. And instead, Shanahan says no. He protects his core. And now, 2 years later, the same results. And now you're going to lose him for nothing. And to be fair, but COVID. You signed these contracts before COVID.
Yeah.
It is totally fair to say that the COVID-19 pandemic ruined the Leafs' plan.
Yeah.
You know what it didn't ruin? It didn't ruin your ability to change that plan or adapt to the situation like every other GM in the league did. Every other franchise did.
And everybody else in life. COVID screwed the Leafs. COVID screwed a lot of people.
COVID didn't
really,
make Brendan Shanahan decide that this is an immovable.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear that as an excuse. A lot worse things happened to a lot of people. People died. People lost their jobs. People lost loved ones. People had really, really, really negative experiences during COVID. And you expect people to be sympathetic to you because the salary cap didn't go up by more than $1 million a year. Do what everybody else did and adapt. Yeah.
Hey,
do what everybody else did and adapt.
Hey, let me quote one of Brendan Shanahan's precious core 4 members. Stop fucking crying, bro. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Adapt and admit that you made a mistake. Yeah. It's the hardest thing to do in life. I get it.
Yeah.
But Brendan Shanahan, because he refused to admit that he made a mistake, there is no justification for him to ever work in hockey operations again. Like you said, he's very good at the business side of things. He did a lot of great things for the Toronto community. There is no excuse for any one of the 32 NHL teams to ever hire him to make hockey decisions ever again. He has proven time and time again he is horrible at this. He doesn't belong. And now he's about to get fired. And if he doesn't, I'll have a whole other rant because Keith Pelly said that the Leafs weren't just here to sell sweaters. That was his exact quote. And instead, if you keep Brendan Shanahan, you are admitting you don't care. So
you got us
it would
2
be
more
inexcusable.
wins. Sometimes people are the right person for the right moment. And Shanahan was the right person when he was brought in to sort of clear house, get things started. But
absolutely,
he wasn't the right person to get them over the next hump.
Nope.
He was stuck. He got stuck at a certain point, And this is as far as he was able to go. And the reason why, why you don't often see the guy who starts the rebuild in any position, coach, GM, president, finish it, it's because you need somebody else with a different killer instinct to come in and go, okay, this is good. It could be better. If we get rid of one of these guys and we use that cap space to do something else, maybe we're not looking at the best that this team can do is 7 playoff wins, less than halfway to the ultimate goal.
The point is, and the point remains, Brendan Shanahan deserves to be fired. He should have been fired.
I mean, his contract up, so you don't even have to fire him.
So
just let him walk. Just let him walk.